Hey, John.
Happy almost holiday.
It's getting close.
Yep.
It's gearing up to be an exciting weekend as well, with
You
the
mean with the cold?
pending freezing rain.
Yeah.
It's been a while since the Portland metro area has been turned into an ice skating rink.
When is this supposed to happen?
Thursday and Friday.
Oh.
It's supposed to be in the teens and weather. So
Oh,
we'll
that
see.
will be exciting. I had noticed that it was supposed to be really cold tonight. And like I
Yeah.
think the high tomorrow is supposed to be 24.
Yeah, 20 somewhere in the low 20s, and then Friday the precipitation comes in and snow or freezing rain. It's all Thursday, Friday. If there's moisture in the air, it's either freezing rain or it's snow. But by Saturday, it should all go away because I think Christmas Day we're back up to 50 for the high. So we'll
Wow.
see.
Okay.
Back to normal rainy weather.
I wonder if my bees are going to live through that. We'll see.
It's going to be a little chilly for them.
Yeah, I went out and put wrapped a tarp around my lemon tree bush, lemon plant this morning.
Tree bush.
Well,
Okay.
I think it's supposed to be a tree, but really, I mean, it's so small that maybe it's just supposed to be a bush. I don't know. It's very small. I mean, this is not
Plant
the
covers them both.
place. This is not the place in the world where you're supposed to grow lemons. But anyway.
Citrus in general is not an Oregon crop.
Yeah. Well, this was I got it from a local greenhouse that swore that it would grow here. It's like some Japanese variety that, anyway. So I have yet to get a lemon off of it, but it has mostly
Okay.
survived in the ground for a couple of years. So, but anyway, it was
Okay.
getting so cold. My wife this morning was like, "Hey, if you want that lemon tree to survive, you should probably go put a tarp over it." So, which I did.
Yeah.
And I had a couple sprinklers that were not drained, so I turned off the valves and turned off the valve in the ground and opened the end of the lines. And so I don't know. Hopefully nothing freezes. Hopefully nothing breaks. If we're out of power, get to maybe try the new generator. But who knows? We'll see what happens.
I hope not.
I hope not to. My brother's supposed to arrive Saturday morning, so hopefully all is calm by Saturday. That would be good. Otherwise, we'll have a disappointed Christmas. But anyway, it'll be good. So, anything fun this weekend?
Not really. I think we mostly hung out at home. We did our annual let's drive around the neighborhoods and check out the Christmas lights. There's this one house that we always track down every year because they do the, tune in to this radio station and listen to our light show. And every year it gets better and better and better. And this year they had the Carol of the Bells Imperial March from Star Wars mashup. And the light show included, the Rebel Alliance logo, in the strands of light, it would show the Rebel Alliance logo and then the Imperial logo, and then, it would back and forth, and it was they keep upping their game every year, and this they did an excellent job this year. I mean, we sat across the street watching the light show through the whole, they do a bunch of different songs, and the light show. I'm surprised the neighbors don't call to complain because it is bright and it is fantastic. So that was our weekend, is hunting this down. We also went down to Peacock Lane. We've been driving through there every year, take everybody down and either walk Peacock Lane or drive down Peacock Lane. So just kind of casual. Let's check that
festive
out. Check out some holiday stuff. So
that's cool. That's awesome. Well, I mean, holiday related. This past Sunday, So like we had a Christmas, party with some friends at a friend's place on Friday night. And then my younger boy, actually both boys had a bunch of friends over on Sunday to our place to make cookies. But we made it like, it was the teenagers. So they did we wound up with 2 or 3 types of cookies. I think there was a lot more socialization being done than cookie baking, but it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's what it's for.
It was cool. And we've definitely been able to eat some cookies. And then, I guess my wife, though, in order to sort of fill out the baskets yesterday, she made a whole bunch of other things. But anyway, that was awesome. It was a good weekend. And then, as of today, I'm officially on Christmas break. So, drove down to Eugene to see some of her cousins or a cousin of hers, that was, down in Oregon. And so, yeah, it's been a relatively long since we drove all the way down and back today, but a fun day. It's been good. Looking forward to some time off here. Be fun.
Also this weekend, just normally you do things during spring cleaning season. You clean things. I got a bee in my bonnet, bug in my shorts. Whatever the right phrase is. I have just a bunch of online accounts that I never really use, and some that I have decided are not accounts I want to even keep or use anymore. So I finally deleted all but one of my Instagram accounts.
Okay.
I just kept the one so I could see because my family still posts there. And I got rid of all my extra Twitter accounts. Like, 'cause I would always create a Twitter account for any new app that I was building or creating. So I deleted a bunch or deactivated deleted or deactivated, whatever the nomenclature was. For Facebook stuff, Instagram, you can't delete an account. You can deactivate it, and after 30 days, if you don't log back in, then it will delete it. So got rid of a bunch of extra cruft, and you're going to be disappointed in me, but I also pulled my apps from the App Store, the Mac App Store, and the iPhone App Store, because they're starting to get a little long in the tooth, and I would like to fix them, clean them up I want to actually put my name on them out there anymore. So, all good.
All right.
So I spent part of my weekend doing some digital housekeeping, digital cleaning.
That's cool. That's awesome. Well, kind of getting to the end of the year, anything that has to be done before the end of the year, just a few more days to do that. So,
Yep.
Let's see. Oh, I had one other thing that I had thrown in notes, that I thought was funny this week. I bought my wife a present on Amazon, and, it was supposed to get here it was supposed to get here on Monday. And so on Monday, I pulled into the house, and I'm like, oh, is the package there? I kind of was expecting a package on the porch, and it wasn't there. So I was like, huh. So even like while I was in the car, I went and, thumbed into, the Amazon app and was like, deliveries, and it said returned. And I was like, wait, what? And so it's less than a week left till Christmas. So I went inside, and I actually did the Amazon support, have them call me back. And the guy was very nice that I spoke with, and he asked me, he's like, is there a particular urgency on receiving this item? And I'm like, well, it's a Christmas present for my wife, and Christmas is next weekend. He's like, well, okay, let's see what we could do. I'm like, and who knows? I mean, I don't know where I'm talking to somebody, but it could be, middle of the night in another country or something like that. Who knows?
Right.
Anyway, regardless, they hypothetically got me squared away, hypothetically at that point, and it arrived today. So I was like, okay, good.
Safe.
It worked. But I'm like, why wouldn't you just have done that in the first place? Like,
Yeah.
If something happens, why wouldn't you? I don't know.
I still have a couple things that I need to get from physical stores. So I might sneak out of work a little early tomorrow and try to find these last couple things, because I can't get them on Amazon, surprisingly. So we'll see.
Yeah, I've still got a few small things like stocking kind of stuff that I need to do, but no big deal. And so anyway, it'll be fun. Looking forward to Christmas. Okay, well, hey, how about a topic tonight? What'd you bring me?
So I have 1.5. So
1.5.
This is actually a couple weeks old, but Apple announced some new advanced security features that are coming with iOS 16 and some new features that they're adding. They are, number one, iMessage contact key verification, security keys, and advanced data protection for iCloud. So those are kind of the three buckets. So I was drawn to the security keys because now they're fully supporting all of their, any place they use two-factor authentication for iOS with a YubiKey. And I'm a fan of my YubiKey. So I'm excited about that being rolled out to all their possible two-factor, because their two-factor stuff now is, if you're using a device, I don't know. I'm excited about it. It probably won't affect, it'll affect very few other people. I like it though. So that's one. And one of the fun notes one of the notes I saw in there that I wasn't aware of was 95% of active iCloud accounts are already using some form of two-factor authentication, which is basically Apple's two-factor authentication, which is they send a message to other devices using the same iCloud account. If you've ever done that, it'll like, hey, some device here, blah, is trying to log in. Here's a code for it, that kind of thing, right? Well, now you can use your YubiKey. So I'm excited about that. The iMessage contact key verification, I don't fully understand what it actually is. It says that if you have this enabled, then any conversation you have, you will receive an automatic alert if I'm reading now, an exceptionally advanced adversary, such as a state-sponsored attacker, were ever to succeed in breaching cloud servers and inserting their own device to eavesdrop on these communications. Aren't those servers all Apple servers already? And so is this just, hey, we're going to now tell you if I'm not quite sure I get it. And then it goes further and says for even higher security, the verification users, if you enable this, you can compare a contact verification code in person, on FaceTime, or through some other secure call. So if you're iMessaging someone, you can say, give me a code, call the person and say, hey, does you see this code? Yeah, I see that code. We both see the same code, so therefore I don't really understand. Yeah. So this one does not affect me.
I glanced. I didn't read enough about this. I thought this was more about making it harder to add a device, because I thought that, at least because I had glanced at an article a week and a half ago or whenever this came out, and I thought this was about making it harder to add, a 12th device. I've got so many Apple devices around. I need to sometimes go through and clean them up and be like, I don't use that phone anymore, reset it.
Right.
But, so that's what I think they mean when they're like inserting their own device to eavesdrop on these encrypted communications. It's, hey, where did this other device come from? I don't have a iPhone 5 or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
I read their Apple's press release, and it didn't say anything particularly useful. I haven't read any other articles that parse this one. So the security keys are coming early 23. The iMessage contact key verification comes, it just says sometime in 23, so next year. And then the third one, the advanced data protection. So iCloud already has end-to-end encryption for passwords, in your iCloud keychain, any health data that you're sharing. And there's apparently 14 other categories that are already end-to-end encryption by default. If you turn on advanced data protection, that number jumps up to 23 different services categories that are in the back. Your iCloud backups, your notes, photos are in that additional list. And it says the only major iCloud data categories that are not covered by end-to-end encryption are iCloud Mail, contacts, and calendars, because they need to interop with global email, contacts, and calendaring systems.
Interesting.
So, which, makes sense. And so that is available now if you're in the Apple's beta program. So that one probably really early 23 will be available. But my half a topic is this last week, Google announced end-to-end encryption for Gmail on the web. So Google announced we will allow you to encrypt your emails between you and a receiver, and Google can't see them. You use your own keys. So this is only available to...
So they're going to integrate something like PGP in...
Something
client?
Something on the web client. No, but it's only available if you are enrolled in Google Workspaces. So it's not available for your public Gmail. So John, you and I can't send encrypted Gmails to each other.
Correct.
At least not yet. But
we could from mostlysecurity.com.
We could from mostlysecurity.com. Hypothetically, if we paid the $8 a month, whatever it is per user.
That's true.
Or $10 a month, whatever the Google Workspace account is. Yes.
Right.
So, and then once this is enabled, it will encrypt the body, any attachments, any inline images, and none of that can then be decrypted on Google's side. The only thing that Google will see is the email headers, which is your subject, timestamps, recipient list. Those aren't going to be encrypted. So, not available for personal Google accounts.
Interesting.
That's my half. So, not to be outdone by Apple announcing security things and saying, but not email. Google comes out and says, email.
Interesting.
Anyway, there you go. That's my topic and a half for this week.
Well, I will foreshadow that my second topic has a little bit of Google and Apple together as well, ironically. Okay, so I'm not sure that maybe I have 1.5 topics, but it's 0.75 and 0.75. Because both of mine that I brought are relatively small this week. The first topic that I pulled out was, I don't think we talked about this last week, is the fact that NIST is retiring SHA-1. Yep. So here's the quote: NIST is announcing that SHA-1 should be phased out by December 31st, 2030. So you got 8 more years, but that's all. No more. Yeah. Hey, you want to take a bet, right now, whether or not that gets extended?
No bet.
All right. Well, not a dumb person, are you? Okay. So,
there will be some critical system that no one thought about that they'll be like, oh, well, yeah. All right.
It's depressing, but yeah. So let's see what else. I mean, that's the meat of the announcement. The other thing says, let's see, just says that the SHA-1 algorithm, one of the first widely used methods of protecting electronic information. I didn't pull it out, but I think they said it was standardized in the mid-90s. has reached the end of its useful life, according to security experts at the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And then it closes with, this is a technical recommendation. You should phase it out. The stick part of this is that the government will not accept software that uses this algorithm in any of its modules after this. So the quote is, modules that still use SHA-1 after 2030 will not be permitted for purchase by the federal government. Companies have 8 years to submit updated modules that no longer use SHA-1. Because there is often a backlog of submissions before a deadline, we recommend that developers submit their updated modules well in advance.
Right.
Yes, that recommendation is wise. No, people will not entirely follow it. But anyway, SHA-1, well played. You had a good run.
Mm-hmm.
All right. My second one is actually about the Apple 0 Day. And the reason why this is a Google-ish thing is because it was Google's TAG, the threat analysis group, that discovered and reported this to Apple. So, Apple pushed out, I don't know if you noticed this. I don't think I did. The 16.1.2 update, let's see, a couple of weeks ago. It says November 30th, with, quote, important security updates. So I'll read this quote. It says, in a disclosure to its security updates page on Tuesday, Apple said the update fixed a flaw in WebKit, the browser engine that powers Safari and other apps, which if exploited could allow malicious code to run on the person's device. Apple said in its Tuesday disclosure that it is aware that the vulnerability was exploited against versions of iOS released before iOS 15.1. As such, and for those who have not yet updated iOS 16, Apple also released iOS and iPadOS 15.7.2 to fix the WebKit vulnerability for users running iPhone 6s and later. So this was clearly a defect that was being exploited in the wild, discovered and reported by Google. So was it they didn't know. Yeah, this is very tricky. They did not say it is a nation state. It was being exploited by a nation state. It said, here's the exact quote. Apple said security researchers at Google's threat analysis group, which investigates nation-state-backed spyware, hacking, and cyber attacks, discovered and reported the WebKit bug. So, I don't know. I find that an example of unclear and slightly misleading, potentially misleading writing, but that is me, I guess. So anyway, okay. I know those are both kind of small topics, but make sure to keep your phone up to date. Apple does a pretty good job of responding. I guess this year has not been a great year for staying on top of things proactively. Been a lot of stuff discovered. So anyway, there you go.
All right. Well,
how about something fun?
You want my fun?
Absolutely. Tell me something fun.
It's not fun or if it's informationally fun. So we've talked about nuclear fusion and small nuclear reactors and kind of, I think it was last week there was a breakthrough in.
That was my something fun last week.
Fusion.
You're gonna rain on my something fun.
I'm gonna rain on the something fun parade. So this is actually a well-written article. People can disagree with it, but it goes through basically. He even says they even say in the article, this article used to contain a lengthy section outlining the tremendous technical issues still to overcome with nuclear fusion, and it had nothing to do with my real argument, so I removed it. So
now that those obstacles have largely been overcome,
I suppose
in the ensuing decade,
the gist of the article is nuclear fusion is and will always be much more expensive than any of the new ways we get power, energy, electricity. Wind power, significantly cheaper. All the other types of electricity generation options are significantly cheaper. And as long as banks have to fund something, they are going to fund something that is likely to give them earn them the better rate of return, and nuclear fusion is not. And so he even talks about, and some of you are saying, but governments could back this, and he said some do. China and Korea are backing various types of nuclear energy, but it still costs more to maintain and build, and like significantly more. And he has a nice little table here. Like solar is about $1.25 to $1.75 per watt, watt peak, I guess, to at their peak ability to generate electricity. Wind is $1.40 to $1.80, and he's got a table and all the data behind everything he's got here. Combined cycle gas. I'm not exactly sure what combined cycle gas is. I suppose that's any type of natural gas or other gas sources. Is $1.06 to $1.32 per peak. Coal is $3 to $8.40. So not cheap. But nuclear is $5.39 to $8.30. So on the order of coal on some level. Right. And so he goes through, this is how much it costs to build a watt of generation. So he's got this data. And then there's some other things, it's like, and let's just look at the stuff that you need to make a fusion reactor. You need lithium, and a ton of lithium. You need, he says, probably about 10,000 tons at $7 a kilogram. You're in your estimates, that's about $1.80 per watt. And, he's like, so the lithium you would need for a fusion plant alone costs more than the wind farm to produce the same amount of energy. And he said, and that's just one of the many raw materials, and the rest of the raw materials for nuclear fusion, even more expensive. And he has a snark, superconducting magnets, ugh. So, anyway, so he goes through and just kind of offers up I love science. I love everything about this idea, but his belief is no one's going to do it because it costs so much to do, and there are alternatives, even green energy alternatives, that are way cheaper. So, and it's a long article. I think a well-written, well-reasoned article. So
I'm going to
bring both sides into here.
My judgment. I'm going to withhold my judgment.
There you go. Read through it and see if there are picks you'd like to knit, or knits you'd like to pick. So there you go.
Yeah,
that's my something kind of funnish.
I did see that you put this in here, so I did skim the article before we started talking. I don't know that I can disagree with the specific sort of on the ground at the moment. It is a stadium sized piece of hardware, but I guess the things that I would like to hold off on are, there's a very, I at least get a very, like, nobody's ever going to want one of these horseless carriages vibe from this. And, I think the question that I would have is, like, being able to reduce your marginal costs to zero is why software is so amazingly powerful. So, right, you and I have, been in the software business for a long time, and, selling your, 10,001st, version, quote unquote, of a piece of software, it costs you nothing. Hypothetically, than it did to sell your 10,000th one. And if a a fusion plant is able to emit more energy than it takes in, it seems to me like the analogy plays that the marginal cost of energy, that next unit of energy is zero, because, again, this is not how the actual tech works, to the best of my knowledge, yet at least, but, the energy to drive the energy production comes from the energy production. And that's the whole point of ignition receiving more energy than you put into it. So, yes, presumably ginormous fixed costs. What are you going to amortize that over? Blah, blah, blah. Of course, what's the life of the plant? I'm sure that's kind of where those numbers came from. But, I think the thing that I would hold is, it's not intuitive. And it even took the software industry, like decades to figure out how to best leverage, having a zero marginal cost. So I don't know. We'll see. That's
we'll see.
My thing is, we'll see. We'll see. It'll be fun.
All right.
Not a terrible time to be alive on that.
No.
All right.
Give me something fun. I just see that it's a quote from Douglas Adams, so I'm very excited about this now.
Okay. So, I hadn't pulled in something, so I was like browsing, on Apple News, and one of the things I subscribe to is the science category. So this is a article in Scientific American, kind of an end of the year article for 6 times quantum physics blew our minds in 2022. So it's a listicle, but it's a quantum physics listicle. So, and there's a couple of these that I'm pretty sure we actually even used as fun, but also a couple that I just plain don't understand. So I don't know, but these are the 6. So the first one, the Douglas Adams quote, the first one is, "This year's Nobel Prize in Physics went to researchers who spent decades proving the universe is not locally real. A feat that, to quote humorist Douglas Adams, quote, has made a lot of people very angry and has been widely regarded as a bad move." This notion is, they use an apple. They think an apple can be influenced by its immediate surroundings, but not by happenings on the other side of the universe. And unfortunately, that is not true. It says that, except careful, repeated experimentation with entangled particles has conclusively shown such seemingly sensible restrictions do not always apply to the quantum realm. If you're uncertain as to what exactly the demise of local realism means for life, the universe, and everything, well, you're not alone. Physicists are befuddled too. So
they just need to watch Ant-Man. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
They're not about the quantum realm.
That's right. Oh, that'll help. Okay. So that was one. Item number 2. And I'm pretty sure we talked about this. I remember reading it. So, researchers reported the first ever construction of laser-based time crystals. But, those are quantum systems that exhibit crystal-like periodic structures, not in space, but in time. So, that one makes a little bit more sense to me, right? Like, a periodic structure. The third one is, it says in another article, a team detailed how precise patterns of laser pulses coaxed strings of ions into behaving like a never before seen phase of matter occupying 2 time dimensions. So this is related.
Like something fun you did a while ago.
We talked about time crystals. I know we did. I didn't look up what article it was, but I don't. This one, like 2 time dimensions. That I don't understand. I didn't understand that one. Sorry. So maybe there's more. And I didn't click through to read all of these have articles, further links in you can go into. The fourth was, it says the Mermin Perez Magic Square game is the sort of competition one can only win by not playing.
Sounds like social media. Sorry.
That is very, very true. Come to, yeah. But what the researchers did here is they used a quantum computer to play this game. So basically it says it's a 3x3 grid that two players have to collaboratively fill to get a win condition. And they have to coordinate, but they're not allowed to talk. So it says even if each correctly guesses the other's move, the pair can still only win 8 out of the game's 9 rounds unless they play a quantum version. And so they used a, quote, vexing technique known as quantum pseudo-telepathy, basically some form of entanglement between qubits for the participants that, essentially they were able to, quote, beat the game using a quantum computer. So that's interesting. I hadn't actually read that before.
Are you gonna?
Go ahead.
I don't want to steal the thunder.
Go ahead.
How do you surmise the other's actions without actually communicating? So that's like the point of this. But what caught my eye there was this vexing technique is known as quantum pseudo-telepathy. So what is pseudo-telepathy? I think I understand
quantum
the
entanglement. I've never seen the word pseudo telepathy in another thing, but all of these are about sort of what's the spooky action at a distance.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, pseudo telepathy is, I think, every parent has pseudo telepathy because they know their kid is going to do something dumb. And they have the choice to watch them do it and have them learn a lesson, or to stop them. So that's. I think all parents have this pseudo. That's what I think of when I read pseudo telepathy. I'm like, I think this is a parent-child relationship thing here. All right.
All right. 2 more. The 5th one is about a tabletop exercise that proposed an experiment to measure something called the Unruh effect, which is, it says, according to the tenets of quantum field theory, empty space isn't actually empty. Instead, what we perceive as the void is filled with overlapping energetic fields. Fluctuations in these fields can produce photons, electrons, and other particles, essentially out of, quote, nothing. Among the various bizarre phenomena predicted to arise from such circumstances, the strangest might be the Unruh effect, a warm shroud of ghostly particles summoned by any object accelerating through a vacuum. So there was a proposal for how to actually, this has been predicted in the 70s, but hasn't been able to be tested yet. And they proposed an experiment that would be able to may be able to actually test this. So that's will be cool if it works. And then the final one is honestly one I don't quite think I understand. If like what I'm getting out of it is pretty basic, but so this was it said something about how trying to it says, let's see, how do particles get their spin, the angular right? So quantum particles are designated from spins, but the problem is they can't actually be spinning because they're so small. With any momentum, they would be spinning faster than the speed of light. And so this is a notion that may change where the quote angular momentum resides, because it says if the angular momentum resides basically in the field, not in the particle, the problem of an electron spinning faster than the speed of light vanishes. The region of the field carrying an electron spin is far larger than the purportedly point-like electron itself. So, okay. I mean, I think the others, particularly number 1, and 2 and 4 were the coolest of those. But there you go. So there's something fun. Six times quantum physics blew our minds in 2022.
Looking forward to 2023.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Okay.
All right, my friend. Only one more before we're done with 2022. So I hope that you have a happy holiday. Have a good weekend.
You too.
And I'll talk to you next week.
Talk about all the cool stuff we got for Christmas.
Sure. All right, my friend.
All right.
Talk to you later.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.